that was even false. That ended up being a big. And what's happening to Eric Holder? What's happening to President Obama? See, here's the thing, folks, is this is not a racial thing. This is just a thing. This is what should happen when somebody transgresses our trust, when they betray the public trust and violate the law like Eric Holder did. And the scumbags, and I say it with scumbags, they're absolute dirtbag, wretched, just vile creatures, go ahead and violate our trust and our sovereignty by doing what they did. They need to be hung from the nearest damn tree.
Yep.
And I'm just saying that.
And, you know, they have to do it in such a manner as to make it look like an accident. You know, they can't come out and just shut, oh, we're going to have the internet kill switch. And then they went, oh, damn, that was really stupid. We shouldn't have said that. You know, they have to come out and they have to frame it where it tastes good, because so many people right now are waking up at an exponential rate. People are going out there and buying guns and ammo and tactical equipment, and they're going to classes and they're getting trained and they're forming groups, and militia groups are on the rise at a staggering rate not seen in the history of mankind. You know, they're realizing that they're losing their grip. Everybody out there, let me say that again. They realize they're losing their grip.
Yeah, they are.
Chokehold, they're squeezing so tight that we're slipping through their fingers, man. Their chokehold is so tight that they're squeezing us through their fingers, and they're pissing people off to the point of no return. They realize it, and that's why you keep seeing all these silly shit slip-ups with, oh, we whacked Osama bin Laden, but we dumped him over a boat, and the Keystone Cops crap. You know, oh, we shot a $1 million missile at a 75-vehicle convoy, but didn't know that Gaddafi was in the middle of it.
Yeah, we had no idea.
Yeah, come on now.
Remember, folks, we have the most advanced information and intelligence network that the world has ever seen. I mean, we live in where there is no such thing as privacy anymore. As much as we want it, it's gone. We let it slip away. It's gone. Hate to say it. It was nice while it lasted, but it's gone. And these people know who's where, when, how, and why. They know all this stuff. They knew that Gaddafi was in there, just like they knew that it was Osama bin Laden's son that was in that building and not Osama bin Laden, because he's been dead for years.
That's right. You know, and bottom line, guys, there's another subject to touch on real quick, and this is just something everybody else you need to wrap your head around this, okay? Everybody out there, you need to wrap your head around this. As far as lists, oh, I'm going to wind up on a list. Oh, they're going to put me on a list. Oh, there's going to be a list. You know what? Screw their lists. I'm here to tell you, if you're in here listening to this program right now, I will bet you bollocks to a barn dance that you're already on whatever list there is. Who gives a damn what list you're on?
Hey, man, I'm on a lot of lists.
Yeah, exactly, man. If you've ever bought a gun, you're on a list. If you've ever voted, you're on a list. If you've ever done anything, if you've ever spoken your piece to somebody at Walmart who just happens to know who you are, you're on. Who gives a good flying damn if you're on a list? Bottom line, this is Sparta. This will defend. It's that easy. You're going to do one of two things. You're going to stand up and you're going to fight, or you're going to lay down and take it in the butt. The choice is ultimately going to be up to you. Now, I want to address real quick, one of our listeners just a few moments ago asked a question in there, what about no-knock warrants, okay? I'm going to give you a very controversial answer to that question, because this is how I feel about it. Just a little while back, there was a United States Marine by the name of Jose Guarena in Phoenix, Arizona, that was summarily gunned down and executed in front of his family. I've watched the video, I've listened to the audio, I've seen how it went down, I looked into it, they killed him. The last officer on the SWAT stack that came up to the door stuck his pistol in there and fired off his Me Too rounds. And we're going to get into that in just a minute. I'm going to answer your question when we come back about no-knock warrants.
You're listening to Freedomlink Radio on the Orion Talk Radio Network. Lots left to talk about, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Joe Joseph and Mike Powers back with you for the last half an hour of Freedom Link Radio for this Thursday evening. So, Mike, continue your talk about this invasion And that's what it was down in Arizona.
You know, guys, I'll tell you basically what happened. The situation was very clear. There was a young man whose name was Jose Guerrena. He was a former United States Marine, had been deployed to Iraq twice as an E4 corporal, is my understanding, was summarily gunned down during the execution of what they call a blanket search warrant. They kicked in his door. The guys started peeing their pants and tap dancing. They fired 71 rounds into the house. They struck Jose 22 times. There were rounds from the officers' weapons that were found 4 blocks away that had passed through alleyways and just random geographical anomalies and such. You know, so if you guys want to get pissed off about something, don't get pissed off for a kid that got hit in the head with a gas can at a protest. Get pissed off for a decorated former Marine who was cut down and murdered by law enforcement officers in front of his family. Let me take this 2 steps further and tell you why you really need to be pissed about this one. They did it in front of his family. These professional jackbooted thugs went into this kid's house, executed the man in front of his family. They drug his wife past his dying corpse as he's bleeding out. And they're such good operators of what they did. His 4-year-old son was in a closet. And after they're standing around smoking and joking about it, the kid walks out and sees his father dying on the floor. Now, here's the absolute bottom line. They denied the man medical attention for 1.5 hours. They allegedly say he was involved. It was a blanket search warrant for several members of his family. They say that he was involved in some kind of drug stuff. They say that he pulled a weapon. They said that he aimed an AR-15 rifle at him first. But when it came out the door, a very, very astute reporter managed to notice that the safety was on. It was the mechanical safety was engaged. So the weapon could not have been fired. They said that he fired first, which was a lie. If you go back and watch the video, you'll see that the nonchalant breach man walks up, breaks the door in.
No, not
all
whatsoever.
All our lies, his weapon was on. All our lies, his weapon was on. I don't know about that, Lucky. On safe. Okay, there you go. Yes, it was. His weapon was on mechanical safe. I mean, we saw the pictures and everything. And I'm here to tell you, man, if you guys want to get pissed off about something, get pissed off at what really happens. In just a minute, I'm going to turn the helm back over to Joe because I can't multitask worth a damn, but I'm going to pull up a site. Actually, I might be able to. Just bear with me here. We were talking about no-knock warrants a few minutes ago. And that's something that I really want to get people up to specs on as far as what really happens, okay? In a no-knock warrant, number one, here's the biggest thing that everybody needs to remember. No-knock warrants at bottom line are 100% unconstitutional. They are a deliberate and direct violation of the Fourth Amendment and your protections against unlawful search and seizures, okay? Bottom line, all right? Bottom line, it's unconstitutional. So what do? Here comes my controversial answer. You man up, you check nuts, and you stand. Or you lay down and take it. It's your choice. You do what you want. It's that easy. Okay? So you can. It's just that easy. If you want to lay down and take it, it's entirely up to you. Me, 3 words, folks. This is Sparta. End of file.
'Tis true. You have to draw the line and say this far, no farther. And the way to do that is to ensure that when we fight this powerful, these elitist scumbags that are trying to rule the world, we have to take the high road in this and make sure we do it the right way. Make sure we do it legally. Make sure we do it lawfully. And don't follow the tactics or use the same type of actions and tactics that these people use. We have to take the high road because when leadership emerges and the right leaders emerge, like, for example, Ron Paul, perfect example of somebody who I would love to see run this country, to be the chief executive of this country, because he's a man of honor and conviction. He sticks to his guns no matter how controversial it may be or how against the mainstream think it may be. He's an honorable man who sticks by his guns. So that's the kind of person you want as a leader. And you cannot do that or try to get somebody like that in power by taking the low road or playing dirty.
No, you got to man up.
By making it violent. You don't have to be violent to man up and stand up for your rights. Like I was saying on Bob Tuskin's show, Marine Corps Sergeant Thomas went up to New York to the Occupy Wall Street, stood in front of the police line, and dressed those officers down. Dressed them down. And you should have seen the faces of these officers when he got done with them. And he didn't have to fire a bullet, and he didn't have to get violent and push into them and everything like that. He stood his ground, and I'll tell you what, you want to see a true American hero? It's Sergeant Thomas. And I'm going to try actively to get him on the show because we need more men of honor like that to be able to stand up for the people that, through no fault of their own or through their choice, don't have that voice.
That's right.
And it's going to take people, these veterans and active duty military, to stand up, especially us, because we know how important it is to be honorable and to do the right thing. So it's our responsibility too, as veterans, as oath keepers, to make sure that we do this, that we don't take our duty for granted, that we stand up for what we have to do and do the honorable thing. Go ahead, Mike.
That's right. You know, man, bottom line, dude, I just, there's no way I can add to that. You've just taken the words right out of my mouth, dude. And you know, it's, Mike and Dave nonconformity of the life that, you know, and that's the thing, man, is it ultimately what boils down, trying to keep up with the chat room at the same time, you know, what it boils down to is, like I said, 3 words. You're either going to live by this is Sparta or you're not. You know, they had overwhelming odds too, but did you see them chicken out? No, they went out there, they faced overwhelming odds, they chose to stand, and you know what? Persia left, you know? Hey, you know what? After 3 days, they got their asses torn up by small groups so hard that they lost the will to fight. The bottom line is this, is you must have faith in our servicemen. If our servicemen chose to enlist to protect this country, okay, to sit back and believe that all of them are just going to rise up against us, I'm sorry, but I'm going to classify that as foolish. Most law enforcement, most military personnel will not participate with orders like that. They will not do it. Are you going to get some groups of scumbags that will? Sure. Sure you will. And you know, it's the same thing anywhere you go. You're going to get the bad apples. But don't believe for one split second that the entire group of every cop and every soldier out there, no freaking way, man. No, read some of the polls, talk to some of the troops. You know, if you've got a friend or a family member in the military, ask them point blank, would you shoot at us if you were told to? You know, and that's how you wake them up. That's how you've got to start talking to these people in the military, is go straight to a recruiting center. You want to know what I do? You want to know what my portion of the fight is right now? I go to recruiting centers all over the place I live. I stop in every couple of weeks just to see how the guys are doing. I did things like, hey, you know what? My mother's involved in making watch caps and scarves for the guys over in Afghanistan because it gets pretty cold. So we bring them over and we remind them, hey, you know what, guys, I'm a vet too. And I remember what my oath of enlistment said, and I remember what my first duty is. And all these people say the same thing. Let them try. Let them try to tell us to attack our own people.
Yeah, of course. But you know, why then, Mike? Why then do we wage all these wars all over the world? It's because of that. You know, the more people that they have out of the country, the less that they can put them in that position. So, exactly. And I'll get into that later. But one thing I want to do is address one of the comments in the chat room about neighbors. Knowing your neighbors is so detrimentally important. When I say detrimental, I mean if you don't, it will be detrimental to you, and you have to get to know your neighbors, and have a game plan for survival. Should civil unrest or just any emergency goes down. Now, in my neighborhood, if you want to call it that, my wife and I moved our family out into the sticks. I mean, super Booneyville, because we didn't want to be near our population center with the way that the world is going. And of course, you know, we don't have many neighbors, and we're very far spread apart. But one thing that I did is I got to know my neighbors and started to talk to them about disaster prep, not about disaster prep in the sense that civilization as we know it will not be anymore. But hey, you know, we got a hurricane coming. If there's certain things that we need to do if we lose power, yada, yada, yada. And we went through all of that kind of stuff and also came up with game plans. You know, well, hey, man, I've got a generator. Okay, well, I've got this. I've got the chainsaws. And everybody got together, and we have a plan to know what to do should something like that happen. And then what you do is you start there. You plant the seed, and then you move forward. Man, the economy's looking kind of crappy, and you know, a lot of people on food stamps. There's so many things you can do to start the conversation, to plant the initial seed, and then you move on from there. But you should not isolate yourself, because a lot of people can band together and be very effective in this fight and